Just Beachy with Deb
and Wendy.
Growing up in the 70s in our Toronto Beach neighborhood was a time unlike any other. Bell-bottom pants, high handlebars and banana seats, water buffalo sandals, crazy adventures, and home with the streetlights. We have lots of stories to share.
So sit back and join Deb and I while we reminisce about the people and times that shaped our lives.
We are back.
We are. Yay.
And hopefully everybody can hear all of this.
Yes. I see my microphone is going up and down. So it's just Beachy with Deb and Wendy. Episode number 22?
I think so. I don't know. Maybe it's 21. I have to count them.
I don't know.
Because I've lost count over Christmas. I have no idea.
It's an episode. It's a podcast.
We're having an episode.
It's been a week.
It's been a kind of day. Yeah.
Let's everyone have an episode together.
Tonight we're going to have a healing session. We're going to come together. I'm going to light some incense and we'll say some prayers.
Break out the candle. Maybe on one of these, Deb, we should do a distant flame reading. Remember we talked about that? How we used to look into flames, a candle flame, and try to read each other's minds. That would be funny to do at a distance.
I think so.
We'll have to do that next time.
Might be a lot of dead air, though.
Maybe we can play some music in the background.
We saw stuff, though. That was interesting.
No, it's true. It's true. I think we have somewhat of a gift, but everyone does. Whether or not you want to recognize it is another thing, I guess.
Well, that's true. It scares some people.
Thinking back to the 70s, like ever being in this place where we are now with communication.
Not at all.
It's crazy. I mean, our form of communication was a wall phone that had a cord that stretched all the way upstairs to your bedroom so you could lie in your bed.
Basically, yeah. Well, and I remember, I don't know if I've told the story, but when we used to work for a place called Konar, right?
Yes.
And they made printed circuit boards. And so I was going there to apply for a job as a copywriter because, I had a journalism degree, and they hired me as a salesperson. I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't even really know the ins and outs of a computer. And here I am going all over southern Ontario to all these people who are creating these electronic things, and the printed circuit board was part of it. So I was hired because I looked like a folk singer, and the president liked me. That was my thing. So they gave me this great Monte Carlo, great car, 8-cylinder back then, expense account, and I just visited people and was nice and tried to understand what they were talking about. And one of those customers was Motorola. And I remember talking to a woman who was very savvy about the whole thing and head of production or something. And she said, and remember back then in the 80s, there were these big brick honkin' phones that would be in Jeeps or, really expensive limos. And she had a design for one that they were making this printed circuit board for. And she said, in the not too distant future, everybody's going to have a phone in their pocket. And you're going to be able to see people. You're going to be able to talk to people all over the world. And it just seems so fantastic. It sounds like the Jetsons,
and that's basically where we're at. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
Zoom. I mean,
you can talk to somebody on your wristwatch.
Exactly. Yep.
Like Dick Tracy did. It's like it's a strange place that we find ourselves in.
Yes.
Technology, and with AI now becoming like part of our everyday life with, even Google searches, it's all AI driven.
Well, and it's really scary. Like on my TikTok feed, I'm getting these EI things of like what the Family Guy characters would look like if they were human. Shrek characters. And it's so bizarre because like they look like they could be real people, right? And it's scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting harder to
decipher.
tell what's real and what isn't. And that's in this current political climate.
Mhm.
We really have to hang on to our libraries.
No, it's so true.
Don't take my library.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's crazy. I guess in the 90s when I was working part-time for Weight Watchers, I got my first cell phone, and that was basically just to have, should my car break down or something, or I was out at night driving all
Oh
over the
yeah.
place to different meetings. And now, and it wasn't a must to have, but now you leave your, you check your pockets or your purse before you walk out the door to make sure you have your phone,
Oh, absolutely.
or
Yeah.
if you don't have your phone, then, you get into your car and nothing connects. It's like, oh no, gotta go back and get my phone. Right.
There's a real feeling of, what if something happens if you
Hmm.
leave your phone behind, or what if somebody wants me, or what if I need, what if I need,
I
and
know.
it's like monkey brain. I did recently leave the house without my phone, and I wasn't going far, but all that time I'm thinking somebody's trying to get a hold of me. What am I missing? Or what happens if I need somebody? It's something. It's like
We're
it's in
back in
my
the day.
pocket.
If you try to get someone and they were on the phone, you got a busy signal and you just kept trying to call back and call back, right?
That's correct.
There was no
Yeah.
such thing as call waiting in the 70s.
No, no. And sometimes you could get the operator to break in
That's
if it
true.
was an urgent call, right? Hello, I've got a party on the line that wants to talk to you.
What a different time,
I know.
man.
We've seen a lot in our time, that's for sure. I remember Grampy bringing home the transistor radio that, could fit in the palm of your hand. And he loved things like that. The whole gadget stuff he would bring, and just it fascinated him, the circuits that are small. He would not even be sane looking at all the computer stuff right now. He'd be so excited. Even an SD card that can hold 2 terabytes of data. The microchipping stuff. I'm so sorry he didn't buy stock in some of
Oh,
the things that he
seriously.
was at the beginning of, eh?
I still remember him buying the first calculator because he had to be the first to have everything.
That's right.
And he bought it at Eaton's, and I think I mentioned it before, and all I did was multiply, divide, subtract, and add. And I swear I kept the box forever, and it was like $69.95. And I'm a Price is Right junkie right now, and they have a game of what back in the 70s, and they put out prizes that they would have given away. And yeah, even in the States, like in the 70s, they had a calculator, and that's how much it was
Wow.
69.95 for
Wow.
some, not a scientific calculator, just the
No,
basics,
nothing.
right?
We live in an interesting age because things are really, really cooking with AI, with all the things that we can do. You can even talk to a chat GPT. I'm getting to know it a bit. If you have an issue, or if you're like Simon will use it if he's looking at, wants to compare speakers. Do I get this one or do I get this one? It will give you a very accurate rundown of the pros and cons of each thing and help you make a decision.
That's crazy.
It's more than just, smoothing out your writing. Some people use it as an ear, almost like a journal. I don't know where the information goes, but I wouldn't tell it secrets. But
No,
um,
now your
but
phone listens for that. So
yeah, yeah. Well, there's no such thing as privacy anymore.
no, and no, on our original podcast of this week, we were talking about that our algorithms on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram is all the 70s coming up.
Right,
So it's
right.
listening, right? And some of the products that have been coming up is just crazy too. But you posted something after Christmas, which was so funny on our Just Beachy page. And
Right.
it was the commercial of Santa Claus
Oh,
placing a carton of Camel cigarettes underneath the Christmas tree. Like, what a
because
gift to behold.
every household needs a carton of Camels. God,
Oh,
that's a horrible smelling cigarette anyway.
yeah,
But yeah,
American, right? Oh,
yeah, yeah.
but crazy. And then I'm sure our, Grammy and Grampy and Mom and Dad would have appreciated that. It's
They would have.
kept under the tree.
Look, we got cigarettes. This is great.
Yay!
Grampy doesn't have to roll them this week.
Oh, and we grew up as we've talked about before, in a smoking household.
Oh
And,
God.
mom and dad smoked, grandpa and grammy smoked, and Gram smoked Alpine, which was the menthol, and
Right.
Grampy basically rolled his own. But mom,
Yes.
would send us up to AM2 with $5 for milk, bread, and cigarettes.
Right.
And I don't, and now when you think of a package of cigarettes, um, like I didn't even know you could buy brand names anymore because a package doesn't look like a package from our youth or even
Yeah.
in the 80s
Yeah.
anymore. Because you can still buy Demore in that. And mom, she got the fancier ones as time went on because she would smoke the Demore Special Mild 100s because they were fancy.
Mm.
But
They
now
were
you buy a
long.
package, they're like, I think $18. And one time I was standing in line behind someone and they bought a carton and I swear they paid $180 for a carton of cigarettes.
Good Lord.
The last time I bought a carton, because I did smoke back in the day, was sometime in the early 80s. And I think it was $20 for the carton. And I think you got 10
Yeah.
packages of cigarettes, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's insane. I don't know how people afford it. How
No.
can you afford to smoke?
But in our house, ashtrays were full. Doctors' offices, ashtrays were full. I, everywhere you went, Grampy had, after he retired, he took some caretaking jobs. He worked a lawyer's office at Broadview and Queen Street in Toronto, and he worked
Hmm.
at the East York Public Library. And I'd
Hmm.
go with him on weekends because I spend a lot of weekends with them. And just ashtrays everywhere and full. Like you could not escape them, but you didn't think anything of it because that's just the way it was.
Yeah. I think we kind of, it was up to the kids to clean them because they just kept, stubbing out butts and lighting new ones, and
Hmm.
it would be overflowing.
Always.
They never really had a sense of this should probably go in the garbage now.
No.
This is really unsightly.
Well, even for Graham, the last thing she would do at night was, sit on the side of her bed and have a cigarette
Yeah.
before she
Yeah.
went to sleep, right? And
Oh my
then,
God.
throw in the halls, throw in the Vicks, and yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think every picture we have of Graham, she has a cigarette in her hand.
Yes.
You
I
know?
think she does. Yeah, very gracefully holding it, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But then she had that time where she woke up and she couldn't breathe. She was probably in her 80s at that point, maybe 70s.
Maybe, yeah. But it
She
was
quit.
after Grampy had passed.
That'd be
And
80s
remember,
then.
she had a coughing fit or something, and this is
Yeah,
where it goes, ooh. But she said that he had come to her door
that's right. She
and
was in her
asked her
bedroom.
if she was okay.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
she said yes. And she never smoked a day after that.
Nope. She just quit. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. She said he stood at the door just as though he always did and just looked at her and said, "Are you all right?" Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget that story because it worked.
Yeah.
But
It
yeah,
scared
but
her.
even as kids, you know, I can remember trying like lighting up her butts that she would have in her ashtray because everything smelled like smoke and I didn't know what I was doing. But when I joined the militia when I was 16, I went away that summer to Petawawa and everybody was smoking. So I
Mm-hmm.
started smoking. And I
Mm-hmm.
can remember coming home and telling mom that I'd started smoking. And she says, "Well, you'll have to quit." And meanwhile, she's she's smoking in front of
Well,
me.
she said between puffs, you got to quit.
So I didn't. But even before I started kind of smoking regularly, before she knew it, because the house would, I guess, just stunk of smoke. I'd get up early when I had a part-time job in the summer and go downstairs to dry my hair and light up a cigarette while I was doing it because she was sleeping upstairs and you couldn't tell like if it was fresh smoke or stale smoke in the house.
Oh
Like I can't
man.
imagine how we smelled because now you
Yeah.
go anywhere where someone's smoking, it's like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah. Well, it hangs on your clothes. It's
yeah,
in your hair.
yeah.
Yeah. You can walk through a field of smoke and it makes a difference in the way you are. Yeah. We soaked in it. We were marinating.
Literally.
Secondhand smoke. And my sinuses were always bunged up. And I'd go to the doctor and, sign your tabs. I kept them in business for a while. And he's like, well, yeah, you're allergic to cigarette smoke. So what do I do? I'm living with these people and they all smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can remember going down to a neighbor's house and they had a pool table in the basement. So a lot of the neighborhood kids hung out in that basement. And at that time, Kathy, who was the house we went to, she smoked and her parents knew she smoked. But we would all be smoking, but we only smoked we took turns because if her mom came downstairs, there couldn't be more than one cigarette burning. But there was always a cigarette burning because someone was smoking. It was like a cloud of
Oh
smoke.
my God.
I can't imagine what that pool table would have looked like over the years with all that
Oh my
smoke. Oh
God.
my God, all that smoking.
I don't remember that part. I don't think I was part of that.
Maybe not.
I,
We
I,
used to play cards. Like it was just a fun place to go. And we always felt special because not that they were rich, but they always had stuff that we didn't have. Like they would go to the pop shop.
right.
And so we would be allowed a bottle of Pop Shop Pop, which was like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, like we're
This is so
special.
good.
We get to have
Whoa,
this. I mean, you can
that's
still
true.
buy Pop Shop Pop, but it's not quite the same thing. And I think they were like I guess, have their bottles always been the same or were they like a stubby bottle? Or am I just thinking beer?
No, I think they might have been stubby. I think you're right. In the early days.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I don't know.
But yeah, so you may not have smoked cigarettes, but you smoked
A
Colts.
pack a day.
Everybody
Inadvertently.
coughs.
Yes, I confess that in my later teen years?
Yeah.
Well, maybe in my 20s.
No, I think
I
it was
I
your teens. Because
I wanted to do something different, so I smoked Colts. I couldn't smoke cigarettes, and even at that, it was like 3 puffs.
yeah,
Once
yeah,
once the taste left the tip, that
yeah,
was,
that's true. Yeah, because it had a flavor tip, didn't it?
oh, it did. Rum
Yeah.
dipped. It was great.
Oh, there you
But,
go.
yeah. And you get like 6 in a pack. And I remember we would have little smoke fests at times. And, but not frequent for me. Just for
No.
show.
Yeah.
Mostly for show. It was my thing. I would have smoked a pipe too if I had the gumption at the time. No, I mean, I'm just going to sit over here and smoke my pipe.
Later up, man.
Probably light my nose on fire. Not very coordinated.
What else oh yeah, we also did a posting because I saw it online. So I put it on our Facebook page of Easy Bake Oven.
Oh, Easy Bake. Oh my God.
That, was such a classic thing for me.
I can smell it.
Yeah.
I can still smell the light bulb cooking it.
Yeah. And it came in different flavors. I believe there was a spice,
Mm-hmm.
a chocolate, and a vanilla, but I think they all tasted the same.
I think they did.
The batter all smelt the same. I don't think there was much of a difference. But man, I used mine a lot. And I think you got icing with it too, that you just added like a couple drops of water or maybe milk. But I can remember Mom though, and I don't remember myself. I was only in kindergarten, but I used to have a young gentleman caller apparently come home from school with me, and he just lived over on the next block, I think on Silver Birch. And I would make him a cake.
There you go.
And probably unsupervised. Like let's plug in this electrical appliance and make a cake with a light bulb without any adult supervision.
Yeah, Mom would be up at the front,
Probably on the phone talking to
cigarettes.
Grammy,
Yeah,
having a smoke and a coffee.
that's right. Exactly. Instant coffee at that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No, that was the way life was there. And you would be baking. Well, they gave me the wood burning kit.
Oh
Remember
yeah.
for Christmas?
Oh, yes. Let's just give something that can really burn down the house. I can smell the burning
I know.
wood now. It's in my nose.
So I'd be up in our room and I'd be, have this hot instrument in my hand, burning wood on my little desk.
On your wooden desk.
And That's not a recipe for
I
any kind of disaster.
totally unsupervised. And after we talked about or recalled this earlier this week, I actually looked it up on Amazon and you can still buy it. But I think it's really for adults and not for children anymore. And it was $60
If
to
if I
buy
was
now.
if I was another kind of kid, I would have started to make designs in
Yeah,
doors
exactly. On your
and the woodwork.
skin. I'm going to give myself a tattoo.
They must have thought I was responsible enough to handle it.
Yeah, but what about the rest of us in the house? We weren't. Could you imagine if one of our younger
No,
brother got a
no.
hold of this? I can still see it in our closet too. The closet I was afraid of,
Oh, the
but
scary
sitting on
closet.
the shelf. I think if mom never put her China doll in there, that would go, Mama. I wouldn't be so freaked out, but it was a scary thing.
I can't
And
even
it
remember what all was in that cupboard.
just
It was just
junk.
a jumble
Yeah,
of
maybe
stuff.
some
Yeah.
sheets, stuff that she didn't have a place for, maybe.
Yeah.
But and her clothes. But I probably would have felt better if it had a door, but it just had a curtain,
Curtain. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that was the entry up to the attic. And
And that's the side you slept on too.
yes, yeah, yeah. I don't know what would have been worse though, the window or the closet. I
It's a
think,
toss up.
yeah, it's a toss up.
Hmm.
I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah.
Oh, man, crazy
When
times.
Wendy just grew up scared.
I think so. Oh, well, this would have been in the 70s when mom, or early 80s. Mom went out west, and I think Joe was there too. And I was left home with Scruffy and Dusty, and they knew I was nervous. And, it was summertime, the windows were open, and, my imagination really ran away with me. And they knew it. And I don't think I slept much while she was gone.
I don't even remember that. Where was I?
You would have been living out on your
In
own
the
at that point.
right. Oh, well, yeah, because she got married in 82. We all
Yeah.
did.
So I think this probably would have been like late 70s.
Yeah.
No, sorry, 80s, very early 80s, because that's when
Hmm.
Clyde came back into her life. So
Right.
yeah, but yeah, I was never comfortable being left alone.
Nope.
No, especially in Graham's house in the basement. That was the most terrifying place ever to be.
That was a scary basement. It was
It was
not that it was.
furnished lovely,
Hmm.
but it just had this feel that I never felt comfortable down there.
Like somebody been cut up down there.
Or you're being watched or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and you had the windows, like the driveway windows,
Yeah.
and sometimes kids would look in.
Yeah. And
They'd come
Grampy
up
had the
the
bars
driveway.
on them too, right? He put bars
Yeah.
on them.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. We couldn't escape if we had to.
Maybe he was afraid too.
Yeah, who knows? But then his little bedroom that he had there off the laundry room,
Yeah.
like that was a scary little room too.
Yeah. Well, we weren't allowed in it often.
No, that was his sanctuary.
Always smelled like his hair cream.
And then the furnace room, well, that's just, you never went in there either. But I
Yeah.
can remember because to get back upstairs, you had to go up a set of stairs. And at the top of those stairs, I think it was 5 or 6 stairs, it was the back door
Hmm.
that Graham just had a sheer curtain on. And so I'd have to time it. So I would make a beeline up those stairs, not like outside, especially at night, if it was dark, and turn left to go up the other 4 stairs to get you in the kitchen. And then I could breathe. But I would be down there playing Cinderella or whatever because, Grampy had created this cute little faux fireplace and Graham had
Yeah.
all her cast iron pots and irons and that from New Brunswick.
Hmm.
So I'd play Cinderella until it was just like, okay, I've had enough. I got to go. It was either being scared downstairs or lying bored to death on the carpet, burning my feet on the radiator while they watched Lawrence Welk in the hockey game. So
I was just talking. Nick has just come back from Toronto, and he was talking about radiator heat at his dad's. And I said, "Oh, that brings back such memories because up in the little room at the front was a little bedroom,
yes, yep.
and we spent a lot of time putting our feet on the radiator when they were cold, and we'd scald ourselves.
Mhm.
It was too hot. That radiator could really get hot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a memory of searing flesh. wool socks
Yeah.
going instantly dry. You know? It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, those things got hot for sure.
They got really hot. But
Well,
and
we
you,
were glutton for punishment, right? We didn't have to do that, but we did.
my feet are cold. Okay, let's do this. Ow! Every time. We never learned.
Mom was probably glad that the house that we had forced air coming out from the floors.
Yeah, really. We had such a laugh fest with the erased. We're trying to bring you the highlights of what we talked about, and it's not nearly as funny this time, but this is what we talked about. This
Plus
is
a little
what you
bit
missed.
more,
Yeah.
and I think we also mentioned though that we're still at 48 people on our
48
Facebook
people.
page. I guess we should really take a look at the permissions on this page to see if any of you can actually send invites to your friends or if it has to come from us or if we have to be friends with people we send invites to.
Oh, yeah.
So
Because
I
it's
have
a
to kind of
private
look at
group.
the logistics of all that, but we would
Yeah.
like to really see it grow if we can.
Yeah.
I know that someone came in that's not a member, liked something. So I guess people can, because it is a public page, right?
Right. But you have to have
Um,
a private invitation.
hmm
Hmm.
But
Yeah, we'll look into that. That'd be a good thing.
yeah, because it'd be great to, share it, and build it because we're having so much fun doing it. And we hope that you're enjoying listening as much as we have making these podcasts. And I know you said even on our other platforms that you're putting us on, like people are listening. So,
Oh yeah, we're getting lots of listens, and I think people are resonating with a lot of what we're talking about. It brings them back to their childhoods,
mhm,
and now we're at a place where we should start inviting some special guests.
I think so.
Special guests.
Yep. And you don't have to
So
be on camera. We can
no,
just record or we can do it
yeah,
live. Yeah, the other night for what I posted on our Facebook page when our other podcast didn't work out, I just did a recording. I could have gone live, but it took several takes to get what I got. So had dogs coming in, you name it, it happened. But yeah, and we hope, because what we feel we're doing is just having a conversation,
that's
right?
right.
We're not trying to be up to date with the news or, bring heavy, hard hitting facts or whatever. We're just having fun. And it's amazing how we go way off course with what we want to talk about because it doesn't take much. And as I mentioned the other night, and, it just sparks a memory and it just takes us in a whole different direction.
And we're off. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There they go.
What we were talking about again?
I don't know. What did you have written down? I forget now.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. We're just the world's a bit of a dumpster fire right now, and there's a lot of things going on in people's lives, and so we look at this as a way to have a bit of a laugh and have a lightness.
And who knows, maybe we'll work our way into the 80s at some point. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff there too.
The 80s would be interesting.
A whole different ball game.
Whole different set of things,
Oh my
boy.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's the 70s were good though.
If ever I was asked where I would want to go back to, it would be back to, I think, from 75 to 80, because those are really good years.
Yeah. How about you, the people listening? You could, if you're part of the group, you could put on like, what were the best years for you in that
I
category,
mean, not
and
that I
why?
minded the 80s, because I did get married, I had children, so I don't want, if they're listening to this, I don't, but life was just, you had no cares, right?
It was, yeah, exactly. It was a different phase of life
Yeah.
for us. Yeah. But
I'd
I
also like
love,
to look like I was back there again.
well, me too. Hot young chicks going to a disco. That'd be me.
Let's bring back the magic, man.
Just beach and dance fest.
Just be G.
We'd have to do disco. We've got to,
Oh,
you know.
and and we'd have to do the hustle and not the Macarena.
I'm never going to live that one down.
Nope. Oh dear.
For those who missed that one, I thought the Macarena was in the 70s, and it was actually the 90s.
Yeah, that was
I
on
did it
one of the
back then, I
quizzes,
swear.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I swear I did it in the 70s.
She was way ahead of the game.
I was. I invented it. It was all my idea. It caught on.
Yep. She mapped it out
Anyway,
with her wood burning set.
I I wrote
This
down the
is the dance I'm
directions
creating
on a door.
as the house burns
I
down.
have a brainstorm. Oh, dear. All right.
Well, this was a lot of fun, as we
Uh,
always have. So thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoy this one and have wonderful week. And we hope you remember when.
Remember when? Thank you for listening to whatever this was. Bye. Talk to
Bye.
you later. Bye.
Bye bye.